Good afternoon. I am Scott Brockman. I'm President and CEO of the Memphis Shelby County Airport Authority. And on behalf of the entire Airport Authority team, it's my honor to welcome you to the grand opening of the new, highly acclaimed centralized de-ice facility here at Memphis International Airport. Memphis has long been known as America's distribution center, and we proudly accepted our role as America's Aerotropolis. And we embrace our role as a major driver of local, regional, state, and national economic impact. I would be remiss if I didn't open by thanking the Airport Authority Board of Directors, this visionary group of 7 volunteers invested the time. It's the sound of revenue. Invested the time to truly understand the magnitude and the importance of this project to not just Memphis, but to the national aviation system as a whole. Thank you for your efforts and your steadfast support of all that we do. We have a fabulous board. Today is a culmination of about 10 years of planning, stress, resilience, partnership, and most importantly, collaboration. The authority team and our board of directors never lost focus, and our invaluable partnership with the FAA and our airlines allowed us to proceed. I can't possibly name every individual or company that played a role in this program. If you were involved in any way, large or small, please accept our sincere appreciation for sharing this journey with us. Obviously, a project of this size, of this magnitude, of this importance does not occur without significant investment by the U.S. Department of Transportation and the Federal Aviation Administration. If you watch the slideshow, or if you receive the project fact sheet, you will see the significant investment of Airport Improvement Program funds in this project. 54% of the $309 million cost, or approximately $166 million, was provided via FAA Airport Improvement Program grants. The AIP program under the Airport and Airways Trust Fund is funded by revenue generated from aviation excise taxes. While approximately half of the AIP grants on this project, or $80 million, came from the airport's designation of its AIP entitlement funds to this project, it took the vision of the FAA's Office of Airports and a belief in the value of this project to bring it to fruition. That belief is as evident through the $86 million of investment of discretionary grants. For that collaboration, for that partnership, we sincerely thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce the chairman of the board, that dedicated and visionary board, Mr. Mike Keeney.
Well, good afternoon. On behalf of the Board of Commissioners of the Airport Authority, I want to welcome and thank you all for attending. What a great day for the airport and for Memphis, and also for our national aviation system. Obviously, the importance of this project is clearly evident. It's not every day that we have the Secretary of Transportation here, and we appreciate Secretary Buttigieg being here. We appreciate Associate Administrator Griffin being here, and obviously our local dignitaries, Congressman Cohen, who has always been such a great supporter of the airport, and Mayor Jim Strickland, who has always been supportive as well. So we appreciate all other dignitaries that are here today. This new facility will benefit all commercial users here at the airport. As you all know, MEM is the busiest airport in the world between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. This is the largest cargo airport in North America. But in addition to that, passenger carriers will also benefit from this facility, as they will have the ability to serve passengers with a more reliable flight completion rate during winter ops. Obviously, that's always a challenging time for the airport. But projects of this magnitude do not happen by chance. They come about through the strength of partnerships. The Airport Authority Board applauds our excellent staff in their efforts to bring this project to a successful conclusion. We applaud our airline partners who put their faith in us and allowed us to bring this project's benefits to them. We applaud the many companies involved in this project, and we appreciate everybody's time and efforts to make this a reality. We've been excited about this project for a long time, and we're glad to be at this point. So we really are a sincere appreciation and thank you to everyone involved. Now, it's my distinct pleasure to introduce to you Bradley Mims. Deputy Administrator Bradley Mims assumed his current position as the Federal Aviation Administration Deputy Administrator in February of 2021. And reading through his biography, he is very familiar with airports. He's been around airports his entire career. And the time that I've got to spend with him today, he is very, very knowledgeable and embarrassed me a few times on what I probably was supposed to know. And we appreciate him being here, and we appreciate the efforts that the FAA has in this project. And with that, I introduce Bradley Mims.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, Memphis. It's good to see all of you here today, Congressman, Mr. Mayor, my secretary, and dignitaries from the Board of Directors as we go forward. Let me just start out by recognizing our FAA colleagues, my FAA colleagues. Would you all raise your hands, please? Thank these guys for all of the work that they've done. And I want to do a special shout out to my colleague, Shanetta Griffin, who is the Associate Administrator for Airports. She's the one with that big checkbook that we really appreciate. And as all of you know, the FAA is in the safety business, but we are also in the innovation business because constant innovation both compels and enables new safety approaches. And we have to pursue our mission with an inventive spirit, and find new sustainable ways to accomplish our goal. These new de-icing pads do exactly that. For example, their location near the runway allows more efficient movement of aircraft, and again, this translates into reduction in de-icing delays. And I will tell you, I was here 20 years ago with a Congressional Codell. It took us an hour and a half to get our aircraft de-iced, and that was very, very frustrating. So I truly appreciate seeing this facility come to fruition. Now, for technologies like message boards and infrared cameras now guide planes into de-icing bays, and these improvements reduce the need for verbal instructions to pilots, which can minimize the chance of miscommunication. Environmental protection is also improved. The new system better prevents untreated de-icing chemicals from draining into local water supplies. These are outstanding improvements, and I'm proud that the FAA can be part of these efforts. That includes investing into projects like this one through our many airport grants to create good-paying jobs and opportunities. And that's a key component of this administration's strategy as we move forward. For businesses that haven't had the opportunity to do work in aviation in the past. And while I'm on the thought, I want to acknowledge my friends from OBAP and the Luke Weathers Junior Flight Academy who are here with us today, and led by, and who just got kicked off by Commissioner Albert Glenn. So give these guys a hand. Just raise your hands from OBAP. This professional pilot program provides the training and resources you need to go from zero experience to an airline pilot within 2 to 3 years. And again, I couldn't be prouder to have them here today. So thank you especially Commissioner Glenn and the Memphis Shelby County Airport Authority for all of the things you do to support the Academy. and again, for those efforts to drive and guide the training for the next generation of pilots. Now, of course, none of these improvements would have been possible without the work of all of the people who planned and built this new facility. The people of Memphis and the many visitors passing through the airport are all better off because of you. Today, it's obvious that that exciting things are happening here at Memphis International, and congratulations to you all, and thank you for all of your important work. Thank you so much. Mayor Strickland, come to the podium. There's no introduction for this great man. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. It's great to be here today. I particularly want to thank Secretary Buttigieg for being here. And as a person who was born in South Bend, Indiana, I want to welcome, I still call him Mayor Pete, but Secretary Pete, so welcome to Memphis. And obviously Congressman Cohen, who's such a mighty force for Memphis in Washington. Thank you for the investment in Memphis. Memphis, largely thanks to FedEx, is the country's busiest cargo hub. And I say the world's best. In fact, all the folks who work at FedEx, would you raise your hand? And this facility keeps us best of class in the country. Getting as many planes in the air efficiently and safely as possible is vital to keeping our local and the global economy moving. All right, I had to ask the question because I'm not as well versed in airport stuff as these folks behind me. But I thought, why do we need a de-icing facility in Memphis? It only snows maybe once every X number of years, and it doesn't ice that much. But what I found out, and I probably am the only one in this room who didn't know this, but I'm still going to say it. Aircraft, even with the slightest amount of moisture, will collect frost and ice on their surfaces, and that has to be removed in order for them to fly safely. So I understand the importance of it. So all these aircraft, cargo and passenger airlines, will get de-iced here quicker, more efficiently, and I learned actually today that it's better for the environment, this facility, than the old way that we would do it. So thank you to all who made this possible, the federal government, the Biden administration, Congressman Cohen. I also want to note that Senator Blackburn and Senator Hagerty have representatives here, so thank you very much for your support of this airport. Thank you to FedEx, because nothing at our airport happens without your input and guidance. And thank you for all you do in this city. And thank you to the airport officials whose leadership has guided us all through this process. Thank you. And I'm very honored now to introduce, I called him, I think earlier, a champion for Memphis. He has been a champion for Memphis for, I don't know, 30 or 40 years, going back from his days in our state government in Nashville and representing us in Washington, D.C., and he does an incredible, fantastic job. Congressman Steve Cohen.
Thank you very much. To Secretary Buttigieg, welcome back to Memphis. You were here when the bridge had problems, and we appreciate your coming to visit us during those times and see the importance of that bridge. To all the officials from the FAA, we appreciate you, what you've done for Memphis and what you're going to do for Memphis. To all the airport officials and everybody here. First, I want to kind of get off message, and I want to address these young people out here in the Luke Weathers School. I don't know if y'all are aware of Luke Weathers totally, but Luke Weathers Jr. was a air traffic controller He was the first African-American air traffic controller in the city of Memphis, Memphis FAA. He was also a Tuskegee Airman and was a great individual who was buried at Arlington Cemetery and was buried with full military honors. There's a plaque in the Terminal A, honoring Luke Weathers. We just passed a bill in the House to name the Veterans Hospital for Luke Weathers. We believe with the help of the Senate, and I see Senator Haggerty and Senator Blackburn's representatives are here, and I think they've signed on to the bill, we will have that honor for Luke Weathers, a great Memphian who deserves to be recognized. This de-icing facility is so important because it keeps FedEx airplanes flying constantly. It's one of the reasons Fred Smith decided to locate in Memphis, because we were in the center of the nation, and it was a perfect place to serve the nation and the world. By de-icing, we have more opportunities to be on time and to get things done. The supply chain has been hurt during this pandemic, and it's been hurt particularly because of China's problems with the pandemic. So with airplanes being able to fly out of Memphis, be de-iced and ready to go, it cuts the supply chain problems down. We have an opportunity in Memphis to connect the world. We do it with our highways and our bridge across the river and with FedEx. FedEx is our most important commercial enterprise. When you hear those airplanes roaring, that's the sound of commerce and the sound of money, the sound of people having jobs and having good opportunity. So Secretary Buttigieg, we appreciate your being here and you're helping us in keeping our airport in first-class condition. It's one of the greatest cargo airports in the world, and keeping FedEx flying and reducing that supply chain problem. The Congress also passed a CHIPS Act, which is going to cut down on that supply chain problem too. So we're proud to have done that. Nobody more important to Memphis in the cabinet than Secretary Buttigieg. We are a transportation city. We welcome you here. We hope you'll come back many times, and we hope you'll enjoy your visit. Secretary Pete Buttigieg.
Well, thank you very much, first of all, to Congressman Cohen, who I'm sure you already know is a relentless advocate for this region. I do mean relentless, and would expect nothing less, but also is one of the reasons why we are able to talk about more funding headed to the roads and bridges and airports and transit systems of Memphis, of Tennessee, of Arkansas, of the entire United States of America. There is a direct line of cause and effect between the legislation that he supported, President Biden's vision for a generational investment in our country's infrastructure, and the work that is taking place now in every part of the United States. And so we are thankful for that support and that attention to the importance of our transportation infrastructure. We really appreciate it, Congressman. Thanks very much. It is a pleasure to be here with Mayor Strickland, son of South Bend. We will always claim you. And somebody who is doing the work of mayor that is so important and has only become even more demanding since I had the honor of wearing that title in my hometown. I'm pleased to be here with Deputy Administrator Brad Mims, with Shanetta Griffin, and so many colleagues from the FAA, the thousands of men and women of the FAA who make it possible for millions of passengers and millions of packages to get to where they need to be safely every single day. And I'm so pleased to be with CEO Scott Brockman, with Chairman Mike Keeney, with leaders from FedEx, all of the people who make this facility and this airport what it is. And also so glad to be among the people associated with the Luke Weathers Flight School, the instructors and the students. We had a great visit with OBAP in Arizona during the gathering there, saw the extraordinary work that has taken place to cultivate a new generation of leaders in aviation. And it's never been more important, first of all, to make sure that the sector looks like the country. And secondly, because this is a country that in today's economy cannot afford to leave any talent on the table. And I'm so glad to see the work that's going on there and to partner with you. So thank you for what you do. And congratulations to everybody who has been part of building and delivering this major difference-making investment here in Memphis, because this is a key hub to the entire country and indeed to global logistics. I appreciated the chance I just had to meet with a number of workers, including pilots, truck operators, tower operators, all of the workers here who are not always seen, don't always get credit for their hand in making sure things get to where they're going, especially this season. But it isn't just reindeer. It is essential workers who make sure that people get what they need. And now that everybody in the country has maybe belatedly come to appreciate how important supply chains are, we want to make sure we're supporting you with the right kind of infrastructure, because it is human beings who make supply chains work every day. So thanks for everything that you do. We are now in the thick of the holiday shopping season. I know parents everywhere are ordering the toys that their kids are talking about nonstop, or in the case of our one-year-olds that aren't yet able to articulate what they want, all the things that their parents and their grandparents can't wait to see them wearing and playing with. And of course, across the country every day, businesses are ordering all of the things that they need in order to have a successful season. We saw record-breaking sales Black Friday, and we know across all of that air cargo operations like this, the biggest and busiest in America, are absolutely essential. Now, before we get more into today's good news, I do want to do a quick Ghost of Christmas Past just to remind us of where we were a year ago in the last holiday season. Because Americans then were understandably very concerned about whether they would get the things they needed. Pandemic had stressed our global supply chains. We had about 100 container ships bearing down on the West Coast any given moment. And there were some political and media voices proclaiming breathlessly that Christmas was going to be, quote, canceled last year. But of course, we weren't going to let that happen. Partnering with the private sector, the administration got to work bringing together players from across the supply chain. Longshoremen, truck drivers, state leaders, local governments, and a number of supply chain-oriented businesses, notably including FedEx, who was at the table with us early and often, finding ways to address many of the biggest disruptions. People received almost 99% of their packages on time or with minimal delays from major shippers. Retail sales hit an all-time record high, and so did throughput at our ports. So Christmas last year was very much not canceled. And this year, we are down to single-digit numbers of ships waiting at the ports of LA and Long Beach. Many rates, including some Pacific shipping costs, are down 80%, which should ultimately serve to reduce the prices that Americans are seeing at the store at this moment where we're fighting inflation with everything that we've got, and help people get what they need on time. So I just want to remind us of that arc. But now we're working on further strengthening our supply chains to ensure that goods can move efficiently today and next year and for years to come. So let's be clear, we are going to continue tackling every issue that comes up. But this is no longer just about fixing the immediate term supply chain disruptions that we have seen in the wake of COVID. This is about making sure our supply chains are more resilient and our economy is more competitive in the face of any challenge in the coming decades, including from increasingly extreme weather. And that brings us to the terrific project that we're celebrating today. We are so proud to join you to mark the successful completion of this 3.3 million square foot airport de-icing project at Memphis International Airport, the biggest cargo airport in the country. Congratulations on this terrific work. This is a facility that will be able to de-ice 12 wide-body cargo aircraft at the same time, right before they hit the runway, helping to get toys and food and medicine and so many other things where they need to go quickly and efficiently. And it's also about reducing the cost of shipping those goods, because modernizing our supply chains is a critical element in that fight against inflation. I also want to congratulate the project sponsors here for finding a way to separate the drainage of that de-icing fluid so that it can be used in helping to sanitize the city's wastewater. And as every mayor knows, getting wastewater right is one of the most important things that very few people know and everybody counts on. It's an example of how the environment and taxpayers can benefit at the same time. It is a real state-of-the-art operation, and I know most people aren't maybe the supply chain buffs that so many of us in this room are, but there's a subset of us who find as much to get excited about in Memphis at a great de-icing facility as there is at Graceland. Now, our focus today is goods traveling by air, but I do want to give a quick update on the passenger side as well, because we know that airlines this summer struggled to keep up with the surging demand. Things got better since early summer, with cancellation rates across the busy Thanksgiving holiday week down below 1%. But we're looking to airlines to continue to take steps to address these challenges. And I want passengers to know, if you are flying this holiday season and you're worried about what could happen to you if your flight gets delayed or canceled, you should know that you can go to our airline customer service dashboard to see exactly what every major airline. You also ought to know that if your flight is significantly changed, the airline, in the event of a major change or a cancellation, is required to give you a full refund if you ask for one. And if you're having trouble getting one, let us know, because to date we have helped passengers recover hundreds of millions of dollars in required refunds. And for the long term, we are also making big investments in airport terminals nationwide. We funded a new terminal in Pittsburgh, new gates in Orlando, more bathrooms in Chattanooga, better escalators in Huntsville, faster security checkpoints, baggage drop-offs, check-in counters, custom areas, and boarding zones in dozens of airports. And I know there's been a lot of terrific work taking place here in Memphis on the passenger side as well, and we know that applications will be coming in, I'm sure, with enthusiastic attention from your member of Congress to look at what that program can do for this community. And it's not just airports either. As we think back to the last time I was here, as the Congressman mentioned, looking at the I-40 DeSoto Bridge and how important that is to this region. With the historic funding that we have, thanks to the Congressman and his allies, including a number of people across the aisle to work with Democrats and work with the President to get this done. We are modernizing the transit buses in Memphis, so workers here and across the region have new options to get to work. We're building new truck parking outside of Nashville so that truck drivers coming to and from this hub can get the safe rest that they need. It's all an example of what building a better America looks like in practice, and that is the President's infrastructure vision brought to life in ways that make everybody's lives better. So again, I want to thank all of the workers who are so instrumental to the economic lifeblood of this nation, whether people realize it or not, who are an indispensable part of the holiday season and every season, and who will now have the benefit of world-class physical infrastructure to help you do your incredibly important jobs. Thank you again. Have a great holiday, and I look forward to seeing more great news out of Memphis. Thank you very much.